What's up, guys? What happened to being the pride and joy of Illinois? We've had crazy news break this morning, and it seems like the Bears are one step closer to finalizing the deal to build the new stadium in Hammond, Indiana, not at Arlington Heights, which is what I've expected all along. It's something that I've talked about for years. I wanted to briefly cover the statements we got this morning from the Chicago Bears. We got a statement from Indiana's governor as well. And who is to blame for this? What's going on? And how close are we to actually having this be final? I think it's pretty much set in stone at this point. Unless Illinois comes out and changes something drastically in the next week or so, it's pretty much a done deal here. And the Bears will be building their new stadium in Hammond, Indiana. Now, a couple of things right off the bat that I've already discussed before. They are still going to be the Chicago Bears. They're not going to change their name to the Indiana Bears. This is tough. And one other thing I think that fans need to know here is Hammond, Indiana is actually closer to Chicago than Arlington Heights is. But here's what happened this morning, right? Indiana has basically made more segue to building this new stadium and passed more legislation in the last couple of weeks than the Bears have in the I'm sorry, not the Bears, the state of Illinois has in the last 20 plus years. This is crazy. So I was actually expecting today that we'd find out that we were going to be building the new stadium at Arlington Heights. That is not what happened. There was a meeting scheduled today in Springfield, Illinois, where the Illinois politicians were going to be meeting and trying to pass new legislation so that Chicago could basically repay the taxes over 40 years, give them a tax break, and move forward with the stadium being built at Arlington Heights. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, but something happened and that meeting was just canceled. So Illinois did not do the meeting. They canceled the meeting. And then shortly after the meeting was canceled, we got statements from the Chicago Bears about moving forward in the state of Indiana at the Hammond location and a statement from the Indiana governor as well. I'm going to read both of those and I'm going to take your guys' questions. Apologize if my voice isn't 100%. I've been sick over the last few days, but I needed to get this news out to you guys. This is pretty much the news we've been waiting for. Where is this new stadium going to be built? It's not the news I was expecting, but it does seem like it's real this time. And unless something crazy happens, the new stadium will be built in Hammond, Indiana. Here's the statement from the Chicago Bears on the matter. The passage of SB 27 would mark the most meaningful step forward in our stadium planning efforts to date. We are committed to finishing the remaining site specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. We appreciate the leadership shown by Governor Braun, Speaker Houston, Senator Missler, and members of the Indiana General Assembly in establishing this critical framework and path forward to deliver a premier venue for all of Chicagoland and be a destination for Bears fans and visitors across the globe. We value our partnership and look forward to continuing to build our working relationship together. This came directly from the Chicago Bears and seems to point towards this stadium deal being pretty much finalized and moving towards Indiana. There's still some checks and processes they have to complete, but as we sit here right now, it looks like this is where the Bears' new stadium will be built. That's correct. And then shortly after this, we got a statement from the Indiana governor as well. And I'm going to read that as well. Indiana is open for business, and our pro growth environment continues to attract major opportunities like this partnership with the Chicago Bears. We've identified a promising site near Wolf Lake in Hammond and established a broad framework for negotiating a final deal. If approved, the proposed amendment to Senate Bill 27 puts forward the essential framework to complete this agreement, contingent upon site due diligence proceeding smoothly. The state of Indiana moves at the speed of business, and we've demonstrated that through our quick coordination between state agencies, local government, and the legislator to set the stage for a huge win for all Hoosiers. We have built a strong relationship with the Bears organization, and that will serve as the foundation for a public private partnership leading to the construction of a world-class stadium and a win for taxpayers. That is where we are today, guys. It seems like it's pretty much finalized. They still have to go through a couple of things, make sure that they can cross all the T's and dot the I's. But the biggest news was that Illinois seemed to give up on this. They completely canceled the meeting that was supposed to be in Springfield this morning to pass legislation for the Bears to stay in Illinois. That was supposed to happen this morning. It didn't happen. Instead, Indiana had a meeting and passed a new bill, 24-0 voting, basically 100% approval from Indiana, and that bill has already passed. So this looks like this is going to be a done deal, guys. This is tough. A couple things I want to talk about here. I'll put together a shorter, more compact version of this video, and just trying to get a quick take out there after this. But I wanted to talk about your guys' questions on the matter, how you guys are feeling about this. And also I want to talk, it seems like a lot of people are blaming Kevin Warren for this. That's something I wanted to discuss here. And Keith says it wasn't the Bears that canceled it. It seems like Illinois canceled it. I don't know exactly the details behind that, but what I read this morning said that the government canceled it. It was canceled on behalf of Illinois. They just canceled the meeting. I don't know if the Bears. Now it is possible the Bears could have told them that unless there's something drastic, that they're already considering the move forward to Hammond. But from what I've heard, it was canceled on Illinois' side there. Now, yeah, and this is from New England Bears fan there. Greg Gabriel has called this. I actually talked to Greg just a few moments ago, and we might be doing a special live show tomorrow. But my biggest takeaway from this is we're supposed to be the pride and joy of Illinois, and we couldn't get a new stadium done. Now, for the people who are blaming Kevin Warren, here's my thought on this. The Bears have wanted to build a new stadium for 20 plus years now, ever since they did the remodel at Soldier Field. Initially, they weren't going to do a remodel. They wanted to build a new stadium, but they couldn't get anything passed, and they couldn't get help from the Illinois government, and that led to them just doing kind of a redo of Soldier Field, and they updated Soldier Field, and they're still paying for that now. And now here, look, it's been 3 full years since we purchased the Arlington Heights Stadium, or the Arlington Heights property, right? 3 full years ago, and not a single thing has been done by Illinois here to move forward with building this stadium. They haven't passed any legislation. They haven't made us a priority, and they honestly have not made it seem like they want to keep the Bears in Illinois. And when it comes to Indiana here, initially, I thought they were just kind of using Indiana to get Illinois to incentivize them to get this deal done. But Illinois has continued to drag their feet here. They still haven't got anything done. And Indiana has gotten more done in the last 4 to 5 weeks than Chicago and Illinois has in the last 20 years. I mean, I think that's saying enough right there that they've got this done in just a matter of a couple of weeks, whereas Illinois hasn't gotten anything done in years and years and years. And when Kevin Warren was hired, his job was to build a new stadium, get this new stadium deal done. He's tried negotiating with Illinois for years now and has gotten absolutely nothing done. He reached out to Indiana, worked with them, and in just a matter of a couple of weeks, boom, it's done. Right now, it's pretty much the writing is on the wall here, and barring some kind of major setback or Illinois coming out and getting a ton of stuff done in the next couple of weeks, it seems like this is a done deal right now, and the Bears will be building their new stadium in Hammond, Indiana. Now, I just saw someone question in the chat. Where was it? Um, Someone was asking the geographical similarity here. Now, this is where it's kind of interesting. Let me see if I can pull up the tweet from. There was a tweet earlier from Albert Breer on this, and he said basically he mapped it out and says, look, Wolf Lake is 19 miles from Chicago. Arlington Heights is 25 miles away from Chicago. So this is actually 6 miles closer to the city of Chicago than Arlington Heights is. So it's not like they're moving farther away here. That's one thing I wanted to be clear on. We're not moving farther away from Illinois or from Chicago. It's still the Chicagoland area. The difference is they're in Indiana, not Illinois. Now, I've had a couple comments on Twitter about this. Hey, Julius Thompson, thank you so much for the super chat. I will get to that in just a second. But the biggest thing here for me is the loss of revenue for the state of Illinois when it comes to this team hosting a new Super Bowl, this team potentially getting Final Fours, because that's the thing with the NFL. Anytime a team builds a new stadium, the NFL usually gives them the right to a Super Bowl, at least one. So we should be getting a Super Bowl in Chicago after this stadium gets built. And that's going to be a lot of revenue that's going to Indiana. But there is a counterpoint to that. I believe, and look at that. Wolf Lake is 1 mile away from the borderline of Chicago. I'll believe you. I was going with what Albert Breer said. He mapped it out. I guess he did. He mapped out where the location of the new stadium will be built. I don't know if that's exactly the same, but you're saying it's 1 mile away. I'll have to get into that and look at it later. But it is closer than Arlington Heights, no matter what people are saying here. But here's the thing. A lot of people are saying if Chicago gets a Super Bowl, we will still have a lot of people staying at hotels in Chicago. They'll still be spending money in Chicago, and Illinois will still get a lot of that revenue. The problem is when you look at the new infrastructure and the buildings around the stadium, because it's not just a new stadium that's getting built. They're going to be building a whole entertainment district around the new stadium. There's going to be restaurants. There's going to be hotels. There's going to be pro shops and Bears specific areas there. So there will be people staying in Hammond, Indiana as well when that happens. Shout out to my man, Julius Thomas. He says this is 100% on Illinois. He lives in Maryville, Indiana. He says the Bears are our local team, not the Colts. Bears deserve a new stadium capable of hosting a Super Bowl, and Illinois didn't believe the Bears would leave. I kind of have to roll with this. I kind of believe everything he said there. I don't think Illinois politicians took it seriously. I think they thought all along that the Bears would stay in Illinois, especially after they purchased that Arlington Heights property. And this is tough for me, man. I mean, growing up in Illinois, for me, it's like, hey, when I Google Wolf Lake, it says it's 2 hours drive from Hammond. Yeah, we'll have to look at that. But according to Albert Breer, that's what I'm going with. no matter what we're looking at here, it's closer to the city of Chicago than Arlington Heights is. So it's not like we're moving farther away with this one. I have seen a lot of questions about will they rebuild Hallis Hall in Hammond, Indiana? Will they do training camp in Indiana? No one knows the questions to these yet. I will say there's been a lot of money spent building up Hallis Hall and the facilities, um, the workout area where the gym and the infrastructure and everything they have at Hallis Hall. At this point in time, I don't believe they'll be moving Hallis Hall. I think this is just a new stadium, and it's going to be a stadium and an entertainment district for fans and for people who visit and want to go to Bears games. I don't think they're going to move Hallis Hall, but nobody right now has an official answer to that. That's something that'll probably be brought up over the next year or so once we get closer to the new stadium actually being built. But y'all should look at which spot is closer to Soldier Field. That's a good point as well. You can look up which spot is actually closer to Soldier Field. But the bottom line here is the new stadium looks like it is going to Indiana. Here's a recap of basically the whole situation and what's going into it here. Illinois has had years to get things done here. They were supposed to have a revenue and finance authority meeting this morning. That meeting was canceled. The proposal that was going to happen in that was a property tax freeze up to 40 years, and that would have allowed the Bears to continue moving forward and build the stadium at Arlington Heights. Instead, we had a Senate Bill 27 reviewed in Indiana this morning, and they established the framework for a new stadium, and the bill was passed 24-0, unanimous. And the statements from both, if you guys missed these, I'll put them on the screen, but I'm not going to reread them. This was the statement from the Chicago Bears this morning. They sent this out. This is an official statement from the Chicago Bears and their plan to move forward with the Hammond, Indiana site at the Wolf Lake area. That's big, big news there. This is something that comes directly from the Bears and basically locks it in that unless something crazy happens, this new stadium will be built in Indiana, not Illinois. The pride and joy of Illinois, no more, but it's still right there, right on the state border. So it's not like they're going to be the Indiana Bears. They're still the Chicago Bears. It's not like they're moving to Indianapolis, the middle of Indiana or anything. This is still going to be right there on the Chicagoland area. Now, Florida Bears fan has a great question here. Right now, nobody knows how many seats will be in the new stadium. But one thing that's important here is currently at Soldier Field, we have the smallest seating capacity in the entire NFL. We are a charter franchise and one of the biggest teams with the biggest fan base in the entire NFL. And right now we have the smallest stadium in the league and the least amount of seats available. Yeah, currently at Soldier Field, it's 61K. When they did proposals for the Arlington Heights area, it wasn't that much more. I think it was 65K. Bro, now this is just pure ridiculous. Swift must live in Indy. They're not moving to Indiana. Can you read? This is a statement from the Chicago Bears. Don't be like this guy. This is a statement from the Chicago Bears. This is not me pushing an idea on people. This is literally from the Chicago Bears and from Kevin Warren. And then also on top of that, we have a statement from the governor of Indiana. These both came today, this morning. A bill passed. I have nothing to do with politics. Don't be dumb, guys. That's ridiculous, man. You're making me laugh there. I've wanted the new stadium to be built in Arlington Heights the entire time. But this is something that we have no control over as fans. This is something that is part of politics and is part of stadium infrastructure and taxes and legislators that we basically have no say in. The crazy part here, though, is that Indiana got more done in just a matter of weeks than the state of Illinois has in years and years and years. Yeah, someone, cynical JD said it here. This is the early proposal with the Arlington Heights Stadium was saying somewhere between 66,000 and 70,000. Now, I'm hoping here with this new proposal in Indiana that when they actually get close to breaking ground, it's going to be a much bigger stadium. I'm hoping for at least 75K. Governor Swift would have got a deal. Yeah, if I was in charge of this, let me just say this for the people who are like, oh, Swift must blah, blah, blah. Listen, if I was in charge of this or I had any say in this, I would have got a deal done at Arlington Heights 2 years ago. Okay. Now I was a fan. I thought the Arlington Heights situation was perfect. I've discussed that for years. I've always been under the mindset that I believed the new stadium would be built at Arlington Heights. I thought Indiana was just I thought they were just basically using Indiana for negotiation purposes. I had a big talk with Rob Schwarz a couple weeks ago about why he believed, because he was someone who knew a lot more than this than I did. He works in Chicago. He works with what's the word I'm looking for here? He basically works in real estate and gets a lot. He understood a lot more about this and why the realism, how much money the Bears could save if they went to Indiana versus Illinois. And I was hoping that this would motivate Illinois to get a deal done. My man Plank also been sick, man. Plank, I appreciate you gifting a sub. You got my man Keith with that as well. MVPs out there, man. Bear down, Plank. I appreciate you, my guy. But this is real, guys. This isn't manufactured. This isn't something I wanted. This isn't something that I don't know if any Bears fan wanted it, but I do see some positive reactions from people in the chat saying, and this is a good comment from Momo here. Indiana already had a plan set up a long time ago. They blew the dust off it. They tried it again. They reworked the deal. And now it's pretty much official that the Bears look like they're going to be building this new stadium in Indiana. It's crazy to me. I've said it multiple times already. We're supposed to be the pride and joy of Illinois, but we couldn't get a new stadium deal done. That's a little bit wild to me. Apologies for my voice and the I am a little congested here, guys. Been sick. There's something going around. I've been down for the count the last couple of days, actually. But this news just broke. This is something that Bears fans, I think this affects the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago more than it does fans. As fans, we just want a new stadium to be built. We want a place where we can go and watch the Bears, and we want to be able to get tickets at a more reasonable price. With this fan base being so large and our stadium being so small, it makes Bears tickets more expensive than any other team in the NFL. If we could get at least 10,000 more seats at this new stadium, that could help more Bears fans be able to afford to go to games. People in Chicago, people in Indiana, the Bears have fans all over the world. And that's one thing I think a lot of people don't understand. The Bears have fans in more than just Chicago, all throughout the state of Illinois. We have fans in Indiana. We have fans like my guy Ken Schaefer up in Wisconsin. We have fans in California. We have fans in Florida. We have fans all over the United States and in other countries, actually. We have people coming over from the UK. We have fans coming up from Mexico. We have fans coming down from Canada as well. This is all about getting this stadium done, being able to have a new state-of-the-art stadium and not having an old, not fit stadium that's the smallest in the entire league. This is real news, guys. And this, yeah, exactly what Keith said, man. Bears fans are everywhere. And it's not just about the city of Chicago. But the good news for the people in the city of Chicago is it's at most a 15 to 20-minute drive from downtown. So this isn't, I don't think this changes things. I have heard people, I've even gotten comments when we brought this up in that Indiana video I did with Rob Schwartz. I had people say that if the Bears moved to Indiana, they would stop being fans of the team. They would stop watching the game. They would stop supporting this team. I don't think many people are going to stop supporting the team because of where a new stadium was built. Look around the NFL. This is how things happen. The Kansas City Chiefs are moving their stadium to a different state. The New York Jets, New York Giants, both have their new stadiums. It's not brand new, but their stadiums were built in New Jersey, not New York. They're still the New York Jets and New York Giants. The San Francisco 49ers, who just hosted this year's Super Bowl, they're I believe is it Santa Clara or Santa Monica? Their new stadium is also not built in San Francisco. This is how the NFL works, and it comes down to politics and things that we simply do not control. So it's tough. I wanted to break this news for you guys. Like Stan is saying, I'm not feeling great here, so I'm not going to keep the live going forever, but I do want to get to some questions. You guys give me some questions in the chat. If I know them or if I can answer them, I will answer them. We will have higher taxes coming from revenue loss. That's iffy because when we do host the Super Bowl, this is something I said, we will still get a lot of revenue in Chicago. A lot of people will still travel from out of state and stay in downtown Chicago. There's still a ton of hotels and restaurants and tourist attractions in Chicago, more than that are in Hammond, Indiana. But there will be that infrastructure around the stadium, the entire entertainment district, and that's going to be that's going to give a lot of revenue to the state of Indiana. As far, especially when it comes to the ticket sales, this whatever else they sell, food, drinks, and everything that they sell at the stadium. Johnny Quest asked, how long, if the stadium gets built in Indiana, how long will it take? The good news here is if they move forward with this, they should be able to break ground this year in 2026. And if that happens, it's potentially 2 to 3 years away. I think I do not live in Indiana, and I have not been lobbying for an Indiana deal. That's just nonsense. I literally have said all along, hundreds of times on here, that I want the new stadium to be built in Arlington Heights. I don't control this. I hate those kind of dumb comments. I've never lobbied for anything. I wanted the new stadium to be built at Arlington Heights, but what happened today are simply facts, guys. It looks like it's moving to Indiana, and that's just a fact. The sooner you guys accept it, the better. Someone asked if the new stadium will be a dome. Yes. Every drawing that they've drawn up, it seems like this will be a dome. And from what Kevin Warren has said on the matter, yeah, yeah, I know, man. They're saying a lot of stupid stuff here. I'm not gonna yell, but for the last time, I never wanted the stadium to be built in Indiana. I grew up in Illinois. I lived in Illinois 99% of my life. I was born in California, but I moved I moved to Illinois before I was the age of 2 and lived here most of my life. That's just how it is. But when it comes to, I got you, my man. I got you. Sorry, my bad. Even cynical JD, a guy who lives in Indiana, still wanted the Bears to stay in Illinois. I feel like Top X Sports does here. I hate it for Chicago, but I love it for the Bears. To me, the bottom line is I want a new stadium. I want it to get done. At the end of the day, I didn't really care where it was built as long as it got done in the next couple of years. And I feel like we've been waiting years and years for this to get done, and there's been no movement on the situation. But now, here we are, and it looks like there finally is movement. JT Saber says 2030. That's I think the end goal here is get it done before 2030. That's probably the most realistic, but my hope is if they can get it, if they can break ground this year, I believe they can get it done potentially by 2028 or 2029. That's my hope here because I would like to see this team get the new stadium built, get everything done, break ground as soon as possible, and get the new stadium built. Especially a lot of my subscribers are older, and I want people to be able to experience this new stadium. I want people to see a new Super Bowl or a Super Bowl hosted in the city of Chicago. And with how good this team is right now and how bright the future is, I would like the potential for the Bears to actually be in the Super Bowl and get to play it at home in Chicago. That would be crazy. That would be a dream come true for every Bears fan, no matter where they live at. But yeah, I'm with Keith here. The hope right now is we could get it done by 2028. But like the book of Ezra says, so the SoFi Stadium took 4 years. So looking at where we're at right now, you get 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. Even if we broke ground in the next couple of months, 2029 is probably the most realistic, with 2030 probably being the end goal here. But at the end of the day, this is big news for the Bears, and this is something that I just want this new stadium to get built. I want fans to be able to see it, and I, it's tough for me, man. Yeah, that's what Noah said here. Now, when it comes to what the new stadium is going to look like, we've seen renderings. If you wanna picture what the new stadium is going to look like, look at the Minnesota Vikings stadium. Everything we've read and every projection they've made says it's going to follow. It's not going to be exactly like the Viking Stadium, but it's going to be a lot like that. And Kevin Warren was actually a part of building that stadium for the Vikings. Now, how that stadium is it is domed, it's enclosed, but it has glass around the stadium so the sun comes in and it has the feel of being an outdoor stadium without the weather effects. Now, as a Chicago Bears fan, I've always loved that we have the cold weather games, and we saw it this year with in that LA Rams game. We got to play a outdoor cold game in the playoffs, and that is probably the one thing it'll take me some time to adjust to. But you also have things like Greg Gabriel has been very stern in saying one of the reasons why we don't have a 4,000-yard passer is because of the weather and the wind at Soldier Field. Having Caleb Williams, having a team that is built offensively. Look at last year's draft. It was almost all offense. We have an offensive head coach. So I do think having a stadium that's indoors is better suited for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. But it's a tough day for the state of Illinois, man. It's a tough day to be a Bears fan if you're someone who wanted them to stay in Illinois, but I don't think it's a huge deal. I don't think we're going to lose a ton of fans from this. And at the bottom line for me is I want to get this stadium built. The sooner, the better. And I appreciate everyone that came by. Any more questions? Get the questions out. I'm trying to scroll through the chat to see if I missed any big ones. Let's see. Definitely, I do think it's going to be a dome. From what we've seen so far, it does not look like it's going to be a retractable type of roof. It looks like it's going to be a closed roof and a dome stadium. And Kevin Warren actually commented on that having a retractable roof is too costly. Ticket prices are definitely going up. Definitely going up. Let's see. Yeah, and I kind of feel how Adrian does here. Who cares where the stadium is? It's still right by. It's still right there in the Chicago land area. It's not in the city limits of Chicago, but it's in Chicagoland still, and it's still walking distance. I mean, well, maybe not walking distance, but you could probably ride a bike or take a taxi or drive there very easily and not have any issues. So, I mean, that's the biggest news for me. The Trolls will get us back. Oh man, they're getting into politics now. If the players move to Indiana, they'll make more money. Also, less income taxes in Indiana. That's one thing to potentially look for. I do expect a lot of the players to stay in Chicago or Illinois, but you never know how this will affect players that are with the team. Some players don't live in Chicago anyway. Some players stay in Chicago for the season and then they have their home wherever they grew up or whatever city they're a big fan of. This is where I want to get to here. McMuffin says, is it going to be a cheaper game day experience? I believe so, but you never know. They could always raise the prices to help pay for the cost of the new stadium. So that's something we won't know until it's actually here. Northwest, yeah, Northwest Indiana has a city called New Chicago, and we are the new Chicago Bears with the new logo. Oh man. Are there any drawings for the stadium? Not yet, but I believe they're going to use the same drawings for the stadium, the same proposals that they had for Arlington Heights. They're just moving that to Hammond, Indiana instead of Arlington Heights. That's the most likely situation here, but none of the drawings and renderings of the stadium were finalized yet. Those will be finalized very soon once they start breaking ground and building this new stadium, then we can finally move forward with that stuff. But I appreciate all you guys, man. I will get out. This was a 36-minute live where I was trying to break down everything for you guys. I'll quickly show off for the people who joined late. This is a statement from the Chicago Bears. You can pause the live stream and read that, or you can go back to earlier in the video where I read it off myself. And then this is the statement from Indiana's governor himself about the Bears moving to Indiana as well. Big day for the stadium news. Not a great day for Illinois, but this is how it is, guys. I will drop a condensed version of this video in a couple of hours where I'll try to cover everything you need to know in a 3 to 4 minute video like I normally do. But I wanted to chat with you guys live and kind of discuss this breaking news and see how you guys feel. There is an Indiana Stadium drawing. I'll have to look that up and I'll include that in the shorter video later. But I appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, hype up the video. It is earlier in the week, so you should have some hypes left. I'm still new to that hype thing, but you can apparently only do it on the YouTube mobile app on your phone. So if you're on the YouTube app on your phone, where you hit the like button at, scroll to the right a little bit and you can hit the hype button and hype this up. I appreciate you guys. So apologies for me being under the weather and not 100% with my voice. I'm drinking a lot of vitamin C and pounding meds. Don't worry. I hate being sick, and I'm not. Oh, really? Oh, I missed that. Breaking news there from Keith Hall as well. The Bears have hired Jeff King as their new assistant GM. I wasn't 100% sure that we would hire a new assistant GM. Some teams don't have assistant GMs, but Jeff King is the man for that job. I love it. I love that. I think he's perfect for it. He's been one of our top scouts for years, so I love it. I appreciate you guys. Bear down, everyone. I'll be back a little bit later, and I should have tomorrow a live stream with Greg Gabriel where we discuss this, and I have my first mock off season covering everything in the Bears off season, draft, free agency, restructures, all of it. That's coming as well. Look out for that. Bear down.